Today we're going to show you how to mount an oil tank onto this Triumph bobber. So we've got two brackets here that are rubber mounted. We've got these mounting brackets coped specifically for this vertical seat post. What I need to do is go ahead and strip a little bit of this paint. So I've got the first tack, and I noticed as I eyeball from above, and I can see that the oil tank is slightly this way. Everything looks good. I have sufficient clearance from the oil tank to the frame now. All right, after tack welding, I went ahead with my fill rod, got a little bead on both sides of upper and lower bracket. All right, welding is all done. That went pretty fast. It's a bit of a snug fit with the rubbers in there, but so far we are looking perfect. And there you have it. One securely and beautifully mounted oil tank. Just one more element of this bike done. Today we're going to show you how to install a sprung solo seat. This seat that we're mounting up on Todd's Triumph here is a Rich Phillips solo seat. These pivots have quite a bit of adjustability in the slots. For right now, I'm going to go ahead, I drop the pivot on there, I'll throw a washer on there, loosely thread the nuts in place. I want to leave it loose enough that I can still slide the bracket. The frame. All right. And the cope on the seat spring bungs is such that you can basically just set it in place. Let's see where this gets us. The next thing I'm going to do is eyeball where the seat is in relation to the seat pivot, front to rear. Quickly prep this tube to get any scale, rust, grease, whatever off of there. We'll go ahead and lower the seat back down into position. And what I'm going to do is just make a simple hash mark. Okay, first one looks good. On to the other side. Again, it's better to check and recheck. Way easier to crack that tack off and move it if I need to now than later on once I've started using fill rod and welding more. But everything looks really good. There you go. I'd say that looks great. Looking from the rear, everything, the seat looks centered, in line with the backbone. You got to check kind of everything side to side. Just make sure you don't see anything weird. And if something's off, just stop, backtrack a little bit and do it the right way, and you'll be happier with the finished product. So I'm going to go ahead and finish weld these bungs, and the seat will be mounted. All right, these are all finish welded and ready to go. They're still hot, but you can see our seat is now completely mounted up. The only thing left to do with finish mounting, and when these aren't hot, put the leather washers in place. You flip the seat down, put the cotter pins through, and that's a wrap. thought it was a good opportunity to show you a gas box universal battery box. So here is our gas box battery tray base, and you can see it's countersunk for 1/4" hardware. The 5/16 hardware I'm going to use doesn't fit through. So now the hardware fits through, but the head is not sitting flush into that countersink because the countersink is set up for a smaller 1/4" bolt. So it's, all right, almost there. It's a lot better. There we go. Perfect. The next step is I'm going to simply pop this through and I'm going to thread the bungs in place. And what I want to do here is just kind of get an idea where this is going to sit on my cross tube. My goal here is to get this positioned, figure out where on the tube I want it in this direction, and then also to make sure that I have it perpendicular to the bottom frame rail. I need to ensure that my frame is parallel to the ground. But I'm just gonna pull down on that suspension and see where it sits. So looking at this, just eyeballing it, it is a little higher in the front. That's fine, I just kind of wanted to check and see where it's at. Those were just fusion tacks, meaning I didn't use any fill rod. They're just temporary to hold this in place. All right, so there's our nice new battery tray all securely mounted. There you have it. Nice sturdy battery. Looks great to me. We have proper clearance with our chain. It's nice and straight, durable. It's not gonna break, it's not gonna crack off your bike, leave you on the side of the road. Today we are in my home workshop in my garage, and we're going to be mounting a Fender. So the Fender we're gonna be mounting is a gas box, 16" Fender. So the first thing I'm gonna do to figure out where to put this chain relief is slide the Fender in place. So that's essentially where that Fender is gonna sit. We're not gonna cut it shorter. And what I'll end up doing is just kind of marking out a profile here and then taking the Fender off and on the bench, you know, drawing the line out a little bit. That'll give me a cut line. This lowbrow curved fender mount for curved fenders. And so 3.5 inches. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give myself a Sharpie line. So now I know this is gonna be cut off. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mark my lower tab as well. This is pretty straightforward. I need to seat the bung flat against the fender. So I made a little mark here where I'm gonna just take, I'll draw a line on there, give myself a little better visual reference. I'm just gonna take the grinder, cut that to the length I need it, deburr it. This one's a little tricky just because I'm getting it centered. It's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the welder set up. I'm gonna move rearward and we're gonna work on the fender struts and get those all set up before taking it all apart. I'm gonna use these gas box machined fender strut lowers. The easiest way to start visualizing this pretty quickly is to kind of bolt these components in place. So what's nice about these gas box strut lowers is they're machined for 1/2 inch material. It's a really nice fit. This allows you to start looking at the lines of your fender struts, getting an idea of where you want it to sit, angled back to around the 1 o'clock position approximately. What we're gonna do, I don't want to have anything that you have to through bolt and have a nut on the inside. It would be a little tight clearance and everything. So we're gonna end up using one of the 1/2 inch long threaded mounts. These are 3/8 16 threaded bungs that comes with the strut kit. And we're gonna use this counter bore along with the hardware that came with the kit. So when you thread these together, what's gonna end up happening is the 1/2 inch long bung is gonna get welded to the fender. This strut is gonna need to be bent and cut to length, and it's gonna be welded to the counter bore bung. Hold the bung. So all I'm gonna do is give myself some sort of reference here. Let's do that. So moving on to the right-hand side, the most difficult part of this side is just going to be locating this bung on the fender in the proper location. All right, we're all wrapped up. I finished welded the bungs on the fender and all that jazz, and let it cool a little bit, and bolted it up. Everything fit right back up. But all in all, I'm pleased, and hopefully Todd will be happy to get this bike back, wrap up any details, blow it apart for any paint work, polish, that kind of stuff, and get it on the road.